Good morning, students. Today we are on to part F of chapter 2, that is company formation. This was initially taken up as a separate chapter of class 11th. Now they have merged it with chapter 2, that once you are studying company as a form of organization, they have merged this company formation on it also. So we are taking this as a separate part of this chapter, that is company formation. Now the question comes, why do we go for formation of a company, or what is the purpose of formation of a company? Since company is one of the form of business organization with a better stability and acceptance, a company actually comes into existence when group of people come together with the view of forming an association to exploit the business opportunity by bringing together men, material, money, and management together. As you could see in the diagram itself, it's a broader version of business compared to your sole proprietor, joint in the family business, and partnership. We'll be bifurcating this in two parts. First, what are the different stages in the formation of company? And second, what are the various documents involved in formation of a company? The first part, that is stages in the formation of company, usually comes either for 6 marks straight away, and 3 into 2, 6. You have to go with 3 stages by merging one stage, capital subscription, into the second stage, and then we'll be taking up the important documents in the formation of company. This again documentation part will split into two, actual documents and the certificates that are being issued. If we see in the formation of a company, there are 4 stages. First, promotion stage, then incorporation stage, then capital raising stage, and then is commencement of business stage. In case the question is of 6 marks, then it is better to combine incorporation stage and capital raising stage in one point. Now, if we talk of the first stage, that is promotion of a company. The very word promotion means to bring something into existence, to give a push-up, to give a blow. And how it is done? As a promoter, that means the person who is involved in promotion of the company is known as promoter. So when you are promoting a business, you need to first discover a business opportunity. You have to explore that opportunity. Second, you need to go for detailed investigation of the same in terms of the techno-economic feasibility. What I had told earlier also, that you have to see, is it actually financially as well as technically viable? Then, if it is yes, you go for assembling necessary resources and requirement, which ends up with financing of proposition. Now, as you could see, the promoter blowing the things in market with the speaker, that itself means a promoter is the one who instigates a business idea. Now, this promoter could be of different types. We have occasional promoters. That means you have faced something and you want to be in that business for a longer duration. Then you're a professional promoter. You could be a financial or an institutional promoter. You could be a professional promoter selling ideas on a turnkey basis. Turnkey basis means you have prepared everything and you're ready to sell it. If we see the legal position of a promoter, the existence of promoter is before the company comes into existence. Before the company comes into existence. So that means he is neither a trustee nor an agent of the company. There is trust of principle in the existence at the time of his effort, no doubt about it. But there are certain fiduciary position. If I say colloquial version of it, father-like position. So a promoter is in a fiduciary position, a position of trust and confidence for his duties towards the company, and he is the original allottee of the shares as are being imposed by him by the Companies Act. Now, this promoter is supposed to make full disclosure of relevant facts including profits. Then, he is not supposed to make any secret profit out of the transaction which he is making on behalf of the company. That never means that he is prohibited or forbidden for profit. Only thing is, he needs to disclose it. Then he must be made a member of the board or the shareholder body that is there. Now, board of director should not be his own nominees. This is only to avoid nepotism. Now we come to the second stage, that is registration or incorporation stage. And at this stage, it is compulsory to decide the name of the company, the location, and the legal document part, which I have already said we'll be doing in the next part of it. Otherwise, the thing will be clumsy. This stage is very important because in this stage, the company transfers legal documents to the registrar's office at the registrar of the company. Now, at the time of registration, there are various legal documents which we will be talking later on, which has to be filed. Then comes capital subscription stage. It's the third stage in the formation, and in this stage, the promoter of the company will decide the capital structure of the company. Because capital is the basic lifeblood of a business. Now, for private company, they can deposit their capital from the limited members of the company. As we had said earlier in our previous part, that private limited company, they arrange from their members itself. But since public is going out to get the money, they are supposed to observe various legal rules for collection of capital. In terms of from where to get the capital, are they issuing prospectus, are they informing the share market, and so on. Now, in lieu of this point, because capital subscription for public limited companies is a issue where notification has to be given to public in the form of prospectus. So they have to wait for the next stage. But for the private limited companies, since they are managing the money from the internal sources, they can start their business immediately after incorporation. Next, when we talk of capital subscription, we need SEBI's approval. We need to file the prospectus. Appointment of banker, brokers, and underwriters is required. The minimum subscription, which is 90%, has to be compiled with. Application to the stock exchange has to be done, and then allotment of the shares to be taken up. Usually you get one mark question on what is minimum subscription, how do we go for SEBI's approval. This will be doing in the question answer sessions. Next is commencement of business, CCB, what we say, certificate of commencement of business. This is the fourth and the final stage, which means that at this stage the company gets a legal approval certificate from the registrar of the office for the purpose of running specific company or business, and the legal documents are verified by the registrar under section 49(1) and section 49(2). Then the company gets legal certificate to run the business, and the certificate is known as CCB. This was on the stages in the formation of company. Now we'll be doing documents. Now this document again we have split it in two. First, the documents which are issued by the company, and second is the certificates which are being issued by the company's registrar's office. That is through Company Act it is coming. We're taking Memorandum of Association, a very important topic from examination point of view. It is a fundamental charter for the company which decides the relationship of the company and its members with that of outsiders. Proper description with the seal of the company and its members' name, address, profession, signature is necessary. If we find there are specified clauses, which we'll be discussing. First is name clause. A company has to specify the name with a proper nomenclature of putting suffix private limited with private and limited with public limited companies. The name should not be objectionable from religious point of view. It should not have any prohibitions of National Emblem Act. Then is domicile clause. The way you have residential status while appearing for competitive exams. For state patronage, a company has a domicile clause where you give the location of the company, where it is situated. Then object clause, which is bifurcated into two, main object and subsidiary object. Main means what is the basic purpose for which the company is come into existence, and subsidiary, while taking up this main objective, what are the other activities that is being taken up. Then is the liability clause, where you have to specify what is the nature of liability, whether it is limited by guarantee, limited by shares. Whichever way it is, you have to specify it. Then is capital clause, that what are your different slabs of capital that you have kept in the form of authorized capital, subscribed capital, paid up capital, and so on. And subscription or association clause, which is an undertaking by the people associated in the formation of the company giving an undertaking that all the informations are in their best knowledge certified and they're responsible for it. So here again I am coming down with the various clauses where there's a note I wanted to give that this memorandum of association must be signed by at least 7 subscribers of the public company and at least 2 in case of private company. I said memorandum of association was fundamental document, charter document. Article of association is a secondary document. It is a secondary document within the framework of memorandum of association. This article of association is a document containing regulations for internal management and affairs of the company. It is a secondary or second most important document to be filed with the registrar of the company for the incorporation of the company. It contains rules, regulations, bylaws, and it regulates the internal management of the company. That means it is defining the relationship of member to member, member to company. That is why here if at all a change has to be done, it can be done very easily by a simple resolution. But in memorandum of association, alteration becomes very difficult. If you see the content of the article of association, the rules, regulations, all the preliminary contracts, lien on the members of the share, then transfer and forfeiture. Forfeiture means if you want to take back the shares because it is not being properly paid back. Then general and special meetings, audits and accounts winding up procedure. Now, next common question that is being asked is, what is the difference between memorandum of association and article of association? So, memorandum of association is defining the basic objective for which the company is being formed, whereas article of association is for internal regulations. Then position. Memorandum of association is fundamental or main and article of association is subsidiary document. Relationship. Memorandum defines relationship of company and the members with that of the outsiders. Article, it is the relationship of the member to the company and member to member. Validity. Any act beyond memorandum of association is invalid and cannot be ratified. And the acts beyond article of association but within memorandum of association can be easily rectified. Then every company has to file a memorandum of association. Whereas it is not compulsory for public limited company to file article of association. I will rectify now with the latest amendment. In case if a company is not in a position to continue, instead of table A, table F now is there. Table F of the Companies Act is to be taken up. I am again rectifying it. It is table F, not table A. Then alteration is not possible, is possible over here. Now we come to the third document, prospectus. It's an invitation to the public to subscribe. So it's a document describing or issued inviting deposits from the public for purchase of shares and debentures. And in case suppose a public limited company has a sufficient capital reserve They don't need applications from outside. Then, as a matter of mandatory requirement, instead of prospectus, they will issue certificate in lieu of prospectus. In lieu means in place of prospectus. Now we'll take up doctrine of ultra-vires. Ultra-vires means something which is beyond the power. Here, any act which is beyond memorandum of association is supposed to be known as ultra-vires. Ultra-vires acts are beyond the power of directors and they cannot be taken up. It is void ab initio. Right from the beginning, it is invalid. Whereas, if there is an act which is beyond article of association but within memorandum, we say it is intra-vires, and can be rectified. Now we are coming to the certificates which are being issued. A specimen of the certificate of incorporation, you could see that I hereby certify that the name of the company, they incorporated under Companies Act so and so, and that the company is limited, given under my जो भी आपका stated that state that on that particular day has gone with the stamp fee duly certified by the registrar of the company, and the CIN number of the company. CIN number of the company is being given. Then is CCB, Certificate of Commencement of the Business. It's a specimen copy only, please. Remember that I hereby certify that a Dash Limited, of which has incorporated under Companies Act, now we say 2013 instead of 56, on the day of so and so has been there as a statutory declaration in the prescribed form and with the seal of the registrar, has to be taken up. Now, even though we have merged the two, you get handful questions on the both MCQ type and short questions along with a long one on this topic. If we see, there is a concept of pre-incorporation contract. It's also known as preliminary contract and is not legally binding on the company because company was not into existence. All the preliminary contract means it was before the companies coming into existence. There was conception. That was there. So company can neither be sued nor sued. The promoter will continue to be personally liable for pre-incorporation contract unless the new contracts embodying the term of the old ones is made by the company after its incorporation. Then is the company cannot even adopt pre-incorporation contracts by ratification because it requires presence of the principle of competent to contract. Now this part is not much in your syllabus of section 15H and 19E, but as a matter of awareness, you can see to it that as per 1963, acceptance and communication is necessary. Now documents while you are putting the application to the registrar office includes memorandum of association, article of association, notice and address, statutory declaration, application fee, certificate of incorporation and CIN number. Now next is capital subscription, please. This is again, we are taking up now concepts. We are taking up concepts. It has to follow the guidelines of SEBI, Securities Exchange Board of India. You need to file a prospectus, applications of the shares have to be received, and if the minimum subscription is less than 90%, you cannot continue further. So capital subscription the minimum subscription has to be 90%. Directors pass resolution to allot the shares. Minimum subscription, if not obtained, the money to be returned within 60 days to the investors. And statement in lieu of prospectus, if prospectus is not there, has to be. Now, next comes again the difference in between the two. Difference in between the two. Pre-incorporation or preliminary contract and provisional contract. Now, we have three stages as we said: promotion, incorporation, and commencement. So, when we talk of preliminary, that means it is not being incorporated. The company is not incorporated. It is in between promotion and incorporation. And when we say provisional contract, that means the company has come into existence. It is in between incorporation and commencement. It is in between incorporation and commencement. Let us see now the difference, the stage. What is the stage at which it is being implemented? So, a contract entered into promoter on behalf of the proposed company before incorporation is pre-incorporation or preliminary, and provisional is any contract made with the company before the date at which the commencement has to take place. That means it is after incorporation but before commencement. So company has come into existence but it is not functioning. Now what is the act applicable? In case of pre-incorporation, it is Special Relief Act, and in case of provisional, it is 2013 Act. That is the amendment part we say now. Then existence, pre-incorporation is relevant for both public as well as private, whereas provisional is not relevant for private company. Private can start. Enforceability. In pre-incorporation contract, as we have already said, it is not binding on the company because the company has not come into existence. Whereas a provisional contract is binding on the company when it obtains certificate of commencement of business. Relevance. The term pre-incorporation is relevant to every company even though it has no share capital, and the provisional contract is not relevant for those who are not having share capital. This is all. Thank you very much. Stay tuned for further updates. Please do like, subscribe my channel, and I believe it would definitely help you all in achieving your goal of coming out with flying colors during your examinations. Thank you once again.